Well, what's going on, fellow zombies? Are we alive yet? Are we awake yet? It's 4:11 p.m. Friday on the 9th of May, 2025. Here's Zombie. We were John C. of Roseman, California. How you doing? Err. I could be saying more of that because I'm seeing that our own civil rights and everything else that we held true in the United States Constitution is being pushed around, and then people are saying, "Oh well, you don't deserve it." Stephen Miller, the little shithead that seems to be part of the executive staff of the Trumplican Party, or shall I call it the old gas bag party, wants to get rid of habeas corpus. Habeas corpus is something designed into the Constitution where the innocents have a right to be heard, to be tried. It's part of the due process, but it's saying that, you have a right to be represented. You have a right to be heard and to address your grievances. Basically, you're getting charged. You want something to defend yourself. You want somebody else to defend you. But in order to do that, you need to have your grievances aired out. You need to have your side of the truth aired out. You need to be represented in court. Because of this alien invasion thing that they got going on, of lifting people out of homes and stuff, people think they're calling it getting rid of the immigrants or legal immigrants. No, there's also other people like, how about New York, or actually Newark, Jersey mayor who is picked up by ICE, and I haven't heard if he's released yet or not by the time of this recording here. He and several other people in Congress were demonstrating about what ICE detentions were doing. A recently converted ICE detention center out of another old warehouse or something. And apparently the mayor was selected because he had been outspoken many times against ICE. So they decided to arrest his ass. Throw him in jail. Therefore, in jail. Still reportedly in Newark. But we don't know if the guy's still alive or if he's going to be processed or tossed out. We've got other foreign countries that the Trumplican Party has been reaching out to throw innocent civilians without process out of the country. Birthrighted citizens out of the country. We had this fear back in 2001 when the country was attacked. But this time it was an actual violent incidents that happened that resulted in lives lost, both in New York, Washington, D.C., and Pennsylvania. That was an actual attack from foreign entities. They had proven this. They had put this into a 9/11 commission. We have it documented records. That alone in itself would have been enough sufficient for this alien sedition or whatever the hell they're calling it. That would give people, actually give the government authority to lock people up. We tried that in World War II and back in 1800s, I think, as well. But we have no attack. No alien seditionists or anything else like that attacking the country in one way or another. Except the constant beration saying, we got these bad guys coming across the border over here. They're doing this to us. Ah! Do we have any records? Do we have anything justifying it? Do we have anything? No. We just have suspicions. We just have fear, paranoia, and that's about it. So if we have theoretical illegal aliens coming over and they're being aggressive to the country, to its people, where is the proof? But there's no proof. But they're selling drugs coming over. We got gang members coming over. We got our own gang members here for God knows how long. What the hell are they talking about? We got homegrown. Are they going to be getting rid of those too? Now, my location is in California. I'm Southern California. I'm in the Antelope Valley in the Wedge. Call it the Armpit. In South Central Los Angeles, we had a lot of gangs. San Fernando Valley, we got a lot of gangs. We got gangs up in our towns and our streets that have been here, that have homegrown from other generations that have been living here homegrown. Do we have an alien invasion because of those gangs? Have we ever suspended due process or the writ of habeas corpus? No, we hadn't. Because we believed in due process. We believed if they were found guilty, because we had the evidence to provide and convince a jury that they were guilty, then they were charged and put into jail. But if they had the slimmest doubt, a reasonable doubt, then they weren't going anywhere. But apparently the federal government's saying no, everybody's guilty because there is no innocence. Doesn't matter if they get naturalized or if they get birthrighted. We already had the Trump-looking government try to get rid of birthright citizenship. That means if I stayed here for so many generations, my lineage here has been here for so many generations in the United States, I have to prove that shit. I have to prove that to people. That I'm here because I'm lineage. Because maybe I've had a dozen generations before me that arrived here during the colonial days. I have to prove it up to that point. It means there are certain family members out there that has access to the family Bible. Bet you they would love to see me gone. I'd probably like to see them gone too if they're going to be that way about it. Prove that you got citizenship since the colonial days. But this isn't funny. It was already struck down already many times, but it was going to be struck down again. The habeas corpus has got to go through the routes. The courts are going to be looking at this damn thing and said, no, you can't do that. Now, is Miller wanted to do this to people coming in illegally? And is he planning on doing it to birthright? Of course, the Native Americans are going to be having an issue over this one. They don't keep track of this stuff. Maybe they are. Hopefully, if they kept track of genetic records of who's actual Indian, who's Native American, and who's not, what portion of it can be verified? But then would that be legal in the cases that'll be coming up, especially when Miller wants to destroy our government system of how to prove our innocence? It's like we're turning Machiavellian all over again. We're turning it to be guilty before proven innocent if you are innocent, because you could be alien. And therefore, we've got other countries out there willing to incarcerate you for no reason at all. It's bad enough they're going after freedom of speech, intimidating schools, of not letting them protest, of not letting the freedom First Amendment being expressed left and right. And it's bad enough that they have the separation wall between religion and government torn down. Oh, mama. She's going to be that way, man. Come here, sweetheart. Yeah, I'm right over here, baby. I'm right over here. So we have to have an official recognized religion according to the executive branch, the Trumplican branch, because they want religion. They don't want religion. They just want confusion and chaos at this point over here. They even attack the Pope. Now check this out. We have a pope who's got two um, certificates of nationality. One is where he was born in the United States, resided in Chicago, Illinois. And because of missionary work he was doing to perform, to get credit or whatever he needed to continue his education in missionary and into the clerical. Uh, Clerical not in paperwork, but as as a religious figurehead. No, he needed it for his own studies for that. He was a citizen of Peru and a citizen of the United States. He did missionary work in Peru and continued his march through the papacy until he got voted in as a pope. The United States at first was going, yay! And then the Mexicans were going originally, yay! Until they found out what his background was. It was like, no! Why did we get that guy in there? He's not a Trumper. Yeah, he's not maggot. He's anti. Like a few other popes before him. And they don't like that because it goes against everything they believe in. And he can't be controlled. The other countries are laughing their asses off, but also being pissed off at the United States government. And maybe at its people as well, and I don't blame them. To the folks in Stockholm, Sweden, I apologize. As a citizen of this United States of America, we had no right to engage in your sovereignty and how to tell you how to run your country any way, shape, or form. Trump wants to rattle people's cages so damn badly. He's using his own Trumplican party, so I think got more control over him than the orange gas bag has any control of anything these days. And because of that, the people are in the world not quite sure how to deal with Trump in his mouth now. I mean, he's already been doing tariffs, and I think the Republican Party, one way or another, either like it or too damn afraid. Now, either Trump's doing this deliberately, or he's got someone else doing the chain pulling, or at least the string pulling, anyway. So this is turning out to be one wacky year. Audacity going to Sweden or any other country and says, we don't want you to have your DEI programs. We don't want them here. An embassy telling the country that they have to change. The country has to change because the embassy of another country says so. Or even better than that, when some of the media outlets are getting attacked for saying outrageous things. Of course, the more followers they've got, the more people they're expressing their viewpoints to, the more of a target they become. I've heard logic in some of the independents out there that said that they want to get over 1 million, and that should protect them. Well, one could think and one could hope. I got less than that. I got like about over 100. That's about it. And I'm not pushing my agenda much. The agenda of saying I want likes and I want from the viewer. I'm grifting. I want. Most of the time I haven't said it. Once in a great while I will say it. just to see if anything else happens. I don't make money. I'm dependent upon my own Social Security. I'm I am dependent upon the kindness of strangers, much like everybody else who got disabled and retired and trying to live on what they got. So when you have a government system or a government gas bag who's telling people that you can't live this way, you can't live that way, you can't be cheap, but you can't be expensive either. Someone had quoted about a uh, dumbbell theory of sorts. On a dumbbell, you have weights on both ends, but in the middle, there's less. In the middle, there is only the poor. On both ends, you've got rich. Now that's how we're being looked at as a dumbbell. Poor gets skinnier. The two ends get fatter and fatter. You know, it's going to break them one of these here days. It's going to break their minds that with more of the weight that you put on the skinnier and keep thinning it out in the middle, you're not going to have the support to deal with the weight on both ends. There's going to be a bending, breaking, and then oops. Now what do? Well, we laugh about it and we do it again. We'll pick out another country and see if we can do that to them. Meanwhile, the press corps is pushing for truth. And, you know, I keep forgetting which Trumplicant lunatics are the press secretary these days. So the lunatic they've got currently in the press office is telling people that everything is, you know, they're telling the press corps that they're telling the truth. When honest to God, it isn't happening that way. We ran into the same situation for 4 years with how many press secretaries they went through? I'm just waiting for this one to start doing the relocation again for press secretaries. So I'm waiting for that to collapse upon itself. Meanwhile, everything else is not hunky-dory. And we're still dealing with it. And as for me, trying to figure out what to say to this current administration, I'm not thanking them for anything, but I am pitying them. I pity them. With all that much anger, hatred, and confusion and chaos they're trying to give everybody, including everybody in the world, in the entire world. It's bad enough when I actually had to make videos to apologize to the rest of the world at this point. I'm going to leave them stay as they are. I'm not changing them, not taking them back. Because I do view America as trying to become this empire. Or maybe a very dystopian society. We were supposed to be the great American melting pot a long time ago. We were supposed to have plurality. Now we got South African whites coming in without process, without anything, just waltz right in, and yet we're going to be throwing every immigrant in the country who's carded, not carded, already been naturalized out of here. Doesn't matter who and what they are. We're going to be getting, because of Elon Musk, we're going to be getting the white racist assholes who kept doing this racial shit in Africa and the lower end of it, where we had Nelson Mandela get jailed because he spoke out against it. Apartheid was the word I was looking for. Well, they freed Nelson, and Nelson still went against the apartheid till the regime changed, voted out of office, and then the whites felt like they were being suppressed. Well, gee, I wonder why. And now they feel like they need a break, so they need to come to United States because they felt it'll be the white racist country that they can feel comfortable in. Meanwhile, they're going to try to get rid of anybody who's colored, anybody who happens to say anything against the country or the regime. Yeah, I got something to say about that one. As to the Stephen Millers, to the Trump applicants, to the Trump himself, there everybody follows the maggot theory and following at this point, including to the Congress people and anybody else that voted the trash in. So that's my own statement for today. Bite me, assholes.